I'm your host, Whoopi Goldberg, and today we have some very special guests. Let's meet our guests.
Welcome. I am Marcus Aurelius. I was born in Rome, Italy in 121 CE. I was adopted by Emperor Antoninus Pius when I was 17 years old. Later in life, I became the Emperor of Rome in 161 CE. Prior to becoming emperor, I was educated in rhetoric and philosophy. I am best known for my personal journal, known to many as Meditations. My main beliefs originate from the Stoic doctrine that happiness lies in virtue, and that virtue is a form of knowledge that shapes an individual's whole personality and life.
I am Seneca, also known as Seneca the Younger, as my father is known as Seneca the Elder. I was born in 4 BCE in southern Spain. After being educated in Rome, I pursued a career as a politician. During my life, I tutored and was an advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero, and had a job as a financial clerk. Because of my high imperial status, much of my philosophy is regarding the issue of wealth and dealing with the pitfalls of life. My main beliefs stem from the idea that things of value, such as health and wealth, do not contribute to the good or our happiness.
Well, welcome, friends. I'm Epicurus, and I'm from the Athenian colony of Samos. It's a little tiny island in the Mediterranean Sea. I was born in 341 BCE and got married to philosophy during the Hellenistic period. I really like hanging out with my friends, reading, science, and teaching. In fact, I started a school in this place called The Garden. It's this school all about studying happiness. I believe that humans are really bad at making themselves happy because they don't know what really makes them happy. Or they do things that doesn't really make them happy. So instead of focusing on romance and money to have a good life, you should focus on having good friends, have a job that allows you to interact with others and make a difference in society, and pamper yourself with your mind and thoughts and provide yourself with luxury.
Welcome all. I am Aristotle. I am an ancient Greek philosopher and scientist. I was born in 384 BC in the city of Stagira, Chalcidice, Greece. My parents died young, so when I was just 17 years old, I was sent to Athens to enroll in Plato's Academy. I then spent 20 years as a student and a teacher there. My main belief is that humans exist to achieve their own personal happiness.
Now let's get started. There's been some controversy between having a good life and happiness. Some think that by having a good life, you're also happy, while others think they're two completely different concepts. So my question is, what's the difference between the good in life and happiness?
I once defined the good as a true and immovable judgment. I feel that the good can only be achieved by benefiting others and having gratitude.
How do you feel about this, Marcus?
Happiness lies in virtue and depends upon the quality of our thoughts.
Interesting. Now, Epicurus, I know you have some interesting thoughts about the value of friendship. Care sharing those with us?
Friendship is way better than romantic relationships. Bros before hoes should be a first principle. You should surround yourself with good friends. In fact, live in a big house and live with all of them. They are the true essential to happiness.
You cannot befriend someone until you befriend yourself, which leads to clearing away the clouds from the mind. Also, one should not be angry with one's associates, but regard them as siblings, offspring of the same God.
Two somewhat different viewpoints. Seneca, any thoughts?
Good can be found in benefiting others because it creates social bonds. I talk most about friendship when discussing benefiting others. I wrote in letter 81 to my friend Lucilius, benefits as well as injuries depend on the spirit. Our feeling about every obligation depends in each case upon the spirit in which the benefit is conferred. We weigh not the bulk of the gift, but the quality of goodwill which prompted it. However, I believe that a friend is not a friend at all if they can't be fully trusted. Without trust, a friendship is sure to fail, just as a friendship built on utility is surely to fail.
Friendship makes life particularly pleasant. Friendship is a relationship between two or more people in which there is a mutual sharing of love and goodwill. To me, there are 3 parts of a true friendship: utility, pleasure, and good and virtue. When you find that friendship, you find that common ground. You make the same choices and you share the pain and joy. Having a true friendship makes life worthwhile. Often when we find friends who are useful, but the best type of friend is one you do anything for and they would do the same for you.
Now, Marcus, earlier you talked about virtue as a form of knowledge that shapes an individual's personality and life. Care to elaborate?
Virtue is the only good for oneself, that vice is the only evil. Our happiness lies in virtue, and the happiness of a person's life also depends on the quality of their thoughts. I believe there to be 4 cardinal virtues. They are wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice. Also, what produces virtue is not the content of one's actions, but the thoughts that go along with it.
I believe that exercising virtue is the only way to gain happiness, which is a belief that I share with my fellow Stoics.
All of the virtues you need to gain happiness are instrumental goods. They are solely for the sake of the happiness that they can bring oneself, not for the sake of their own self. These instrumental goods could be science or philosophy, but ultimately are tools that can give you happiness.
Now, Aristotle, I know virtue is one of your main focuses to help people live a good life. Can you share your thoughts on virtue?
Virtue is a human's way of acting well or even thinking well. Virtues are the good habits humans look for. Courage and kindness are 2 important virtues that humans seek to fulfill. They produce good work and thus implies excellence. I have 5 intellectual principles of virtue that come first: art, science, prudence, being cautious, wisdom, and intelligence. Virtue enables one to act courageously and to be kind if one's habits are good.
You also need courage and moderation to choose what is best for you.
To finish up, I was wondering if anyone had any tips to sustaining a good life or happiness. Anyone?
I wrote in letter 81, a letter to Lucilius, we should try by all means to be as grateful as possible, for gratitude is a good thing for ourselves. Gratitude returns in large measure unto itself. There is not a man who, when he has benefited his neighbor, has not benefited himself, for the reward of all virtue lies in the virtues themselves. I feel grateful not because it profits me, but because it pleases me. By this I mean that gratitude and benefiting others are keys to being happy and living a good life, because we are helping others and forming social bonds.
They should focus on what makes people happy and what makes the world fun.
True happiness comes from gaining insight and growing into your best possible self. Find those true friends. Develop a good moral character. Maintain those good habits. Take each day one step at a time. Live in moderation, with courage, and with justice. Yet understand that happiness truly depends on ourselves. You cannot really measure if you've lived a happy life until it's over.
Well, there you have it, folks. Today we learned that by using philosophy from the past, we are given concrete platforms to construct a good life by incorporating happiness, virtue, and friendship into our everyday endeavors. I would like to thank fellow audience members for joining us on our show today. Have a good life.